Now is former Democratic presidential candidate and Nebraska Senator Bob Kerrey. Senator, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining the conversation.
You're welcome.
So is this Hillary's best case scenario, running against a Trump ticket?
Well, she's quite strong. Look, her experience, her competency, as well as the issues that she's campaigning on will make her formidable, I think, in November. I mean, I think that's really what produced her victory last night.
What were your takeaways of the night?
Well, I mean, to me, I think it's all over, but essentially the shouting. I think it's likely. I mean, you got Kentucky on Saturday, you got Michigan following Tuesday, then you got 4 big states the following Tuesday. So, and Trump is leading in all of them. So, I think it's likely that it's going to be Hillary and Donald Trump.
Right.
I just had a question. I want to challenge you a little bit on this idea that it's been a good, election season for Hillary. I mean, she did very well, obviously, in the South, just killed Sanders, and especially she's winning huge percentages with minority voters. But you look at some of the white states that she hasn't done well. Oklahoma. I mean, I was surprised she can't beat Bernie Sanders in Oklahoma, and I wonder
that's why
if
we haven't had a Democratic senator in Oklahoma in a long time.
No, that's true. But I just wonder, do you think is that a problem for her? Clearly she is so popular with minorities. But what
I think, look, I think I'm quite impressed with what Senator Sanders has done in this primary. But the idea that a super liberal, if not a socialist, is going to win in November is a preposterous idea. Right. It isn't going to happen.
I agree with you.
So, and I think what's happening is that, as almost always in the Democratic, at least in my lifetime, the Democratic Party has this sort of left-center argument going on, and the center's winning. And the center needs to win, otherwise there's no victory in November.
I'm waiting for the mayor to get to weigh in.
You had a great night.
I'm reading the thought bubbles over your head.
I think Hillary's the candidate I'd most want to run against
in
the Democratic Party, without any question. I think she evokes the past. I think she has criminal problems that we've yet to deal with. I am shocked that they're taking so long to finish the report.
Is that by design?
It astounds me. I did that job in one way or another for 12 years. I can't understand why it would take so long to investigate the revealing of, what is it now, 200 confidential pieces of information, any one of which would have put one of my assistant U.S. attorneys in jail.
So I was reading this from some of these Republican consultants, and they are just apoplectic about the Trump rise, as you know, the Washington insiders. And they're saying that Donald Trump has, quote, hijacked the Republican Party. I wonder how you would respond to that.
I don't know. If it's running in an election and winning is hijacking. My definition there's a legal definition of hijacking. It doesn't include running in an election.
No, but it does expose. I mean, look, it's sort of, like when Frankenstein made his monster, all of a sudden the thing turned on him. I mean, it does expose what you've got in the Republican Party with significant opposition to trade, significant opposition to immigration, significant opposition to lots of things that, at least here on this stage, we're apt to say that we like. So it exposes that.
That's why Lindsey Graham yesterday said these issues are ripping the party apart. And that's what's happening. And
to your first question, it's been ripped. The Democratic Party has its own challenges. I don't think it's likely that Hillary's going to get indicted. I understand, in fact, my own view of the Justice Department, they indict way too many people anyway. I'm not a big fan of, you got a situation where 90% of the cases that are brought never get to trial as a consequence of basically pleading people out. But that's a separate conversation the mayor and I can have. I just don't think it's likely to happen. I think it's more likely you're going to get a straight-up and a significant differential between what Donald Trump represents and what Hillary Clinton represents. I think you're going to have a really good choice for the American people in November. There's no need to muddy the waters with all sorts of other extraneous things.
I don't think the revealing of 200 confidential and top-secret documents is muddying the waters. I think it shows gross irresponsibility on the part of the Secretary of State of the United States.
You have to believe it.
When I was in the Justice Department, if I had revealed one of those documents, I would have gone to jail.
Look, I've been...
what she did was outrageous, absolutely outrageous. It should be an embarrassment to have her on the head of the Democratic Party.
Well, her core is not buying into that at all. I mean, her following...
I don't care about her core.
Look, you asked me, I'm engaged in this. I've been on this show, I've been critical of setting up a server at home and the risk of that. But I do think it leads, unfortunately, it has not led to what I think needs to occur, which is a serious examination of the Freedom of Information Act, which makes it exceptionally difficult for the executive branch to function. And if you don't think it does, ask why Congress exempted itself in 1967 when it passed it. It makes it, and unfortunately, we haven't had that conversation, that debate, and I think the overclassification as well makes it difficult for the American...
Nonsense.
Oh,
Senator,
it is not nonsense. I was on the Intelligence Committee for 8 years.
Okay, and I was in the executive branch of the government for 16 years, and I sat in my office until 3, 4 in the morning and read top-secret documents. I approved all the FISA wires for 4 years. I sat in my office until 4 in the morning, and I did it. If any one of my assistants had taken a single one of those documents home, he'd have been fired, and he'd been put in jail. Now, this is absolutely a critical situation. She demonstrated gross irresponsibility. Now, you want to get to the Clinton Foundation? You want to start talking about the $1.2 million in money that Clinton got from the Swiss bank when she was calling up the Secretary of the Treasury asking for special favors on the part of UBS?
To me, that's a bigger deal than the email.
Let me finish.
You're going to be on here for an hour.
Let me finish my sentence. I was a prosecutor for too long not to figure out what that was all about. You do not get $1.2 million in speaking fees. The Secretary of State doesn't call up the Treasury Department and say, go easy on UBS. Described by the Treasury employee as a very unusual conversation from the Secretary of State.
Wow. Go easy on UBS.
If that isn't circumstantial evidence of a crime, and if you want to know why she destroyed the 34,000 emails, I believe she destroyed them because those 34,000 emails show a connection between her and Bill on those millions of dollars she was collecting on what she was doing as Secretary.
Look, we're going to...
This is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. I mean, I can be critical of it. I have been critical of it.
Outrageous.
Yeah, okay, outrageous. Use whatever word you want on there. What's going to happen in this campaign, you're going to get a real debate on the issues. There are going to be efforts to try to discredit Donald Trump on things that he's done in his past, you know, things that some of his behavior. He's proud he's declared bankruptcy several times and left creditors in the lurch. I mean, all those things are going to get brought up in the campaign. But the most important issue is, in my view, is who's going to be better for the economy, who's got the competence, who's got the right approach to solving America's problems.
But how can Secretary Clinton divorce herself from her years under President Obama? Yep. I mean, when you consider how angry people are.
I don't think she has at all. She's not.
Well, she is because she's not talking about it. But that's why people are upset, because they have been rolled over.
Well,
what did she say about that?
We just have to add one qualifying adjective. That's why Republicans are upset over what's happened over the last 7 years. And there's a lot of anger.
And independents. I think it's not just Republicans.
Okay.
That's why Donald Trump is doing so well.
I'm willing to modify it and say, and some independents as well. But the anger is mostly centered in the opposition. I mean, but for gosh sakes, Mitch McConnell, who I like, organized before Barack Obama was even sworn in.
So then why is Donald Trump doing so well?
I think Donald Trump is doing so well because a lot of people are sick and tired of being told.
Well, that's what I just said.
No, it's specific. That immigration is good for them, that trade is good for them, that technology is good for them. If they just go to a job training program, somehow their life's going to get turned around. They're sick of lots of things that are going on. I think that's why he's doing well. So